offer a warm welcome, cater to your customers, and offer a fond farewell. We're doing all three of those things on today's Carolina People. Stay tuned to Professor J. Rowe coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Myrtle Beach Lighting, out on 17 Bypass, a little south of the back gate of the Air Force Base. We're focused on the Hospitality and Tourism Management Program at Horry Georgetown Technical College, and we're visiting with Professor Jay Rowe. It's academic coordinator. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks so much for getting up early to get in here. And how about, that's right, yeah. You get the sleep out of your eyes. What about all this light? This place is amazing.
That's right.
Had you ever been in here before?
Of course.
Is that right?
Sure have.
For just to shop
shop.
or to show it off to folks?
And they were featured in Coastal Business Life magazine at one time.
That's
Cover
exactly
story.
right, where you write the business etiquette column.
That's
which is
correct.
a very popular column, Jay.
Well, thank you.
That has really built up some steam.
I'm starting on our third year now.
Is that right? Linda and Joyce do an amazing job. They're two of my favorite folks in the print market and the market.
They have really added a new dimension to the magazines here in the Grand Strand, and I'm really excited to be a part of them.
In the Myrtle Beach area, absolutely. And you helped kick off the magazine, didn't you?
In the very first issue.
Were you really?
Joyce stopped by school one day and she said, "We're starting a new magazine. What are you going to do for us?" I said, "I'll write the business etiquette column." And she said, "Sure, we'll sign you up. Your columns are due the 10th of the month."
I love it. Son of a gun, Jay. How do you normally, well, actually, real quick, before that, you go back into class in the morning, right?
That's right. Let's see, tomorrow would be Wednesday, so I have an 8 o'clock class on hotel management.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How about the other classes you'll be teaching?
I'll also be teaching a class in international etiquette and protocol. It's a brand new class that we're teaching this year, and I'm very excited about that because we have quite a number of international students who will be taking the class, as well as our students from Horry and Georgetown counties, as well as our students who come here from other places.
In international etiquette, are there some differences there that we
there
may
are
not
lots
be really?
of differences
What?
about how to shake hands, when you bring a gift, when you laugh, when you don't laugh, when you show the soles of your feet,
Oh,
when
come
you can
on.
cross your legs. There's a lot of things to know. I mean, you could really lose a business deal by making one little faux pas.
Is that right? I remember, what is that show? This was a hilarious episode where the guy didn't shake hands because he just sneezed, and of course the folks on the opposite side were very upset, and they canceled a big business deal because of that, because someone wouldn't shake their hand.
Right. When do you bow? When do you shake hands? When do you nod?
That's a real issue that folks have to think about. Now, is this principally on the hospitality and tourism side, or just in open setting?
It's in open setting, but because in hospitality you do deal with people from so many cultures as they come here to do business. They're eating in restaurants, they're staying in hotels,
Right.
And so that's one of the main reasons that we do it. And also, our students have the opportunity to travel, anywhere in the world once they get their degrees from here. We like to say that our students have a world of opportunity in hospitality because once they get basic training here, they can go on to work anywhere in the world.
I think I saw, Jay, you've been teaching 4 years now.
This is my fourth year.
Is right.
Mm-hmm.
What prompted you to go into the academic world?
I'd been at the Carriage House, of course,
Right.
for 12 years. I love that. But I had an opportunity to go down to Beaufort, South Carolina, and be the food and beverage director at the Beaufort Inn. And I got down there, and it was a lot of fun. I liked it, but there's no place like home.
Yeah.
So when one of the professors at Tech retired, Kate Ferreira, the
Right.
former
Sure,
department
I remember
chair,
Kate.
found out about me, and she contacted me to see if I might be interested in moving back to the Grand Strand and teaching. And I was very, very excited about that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. And you said, of course, home. Now, home is Horry or Georgetown?
I grew up in Georgetown County.
Right.
I'm out near Hemingway in the Pleasant Hill community, Folly
yeah.
Grove, right out.
Some of our viewers
country.
are out there. Yeah, sure.
Barbecue country. And I've lived at the beach now for about 15 years, with
Golly.
the exception of the year that I headed down to Beaufort.
I think I saw you've been in Georgia for a little while, Jay.
Yeah, I worked my first job out of Clemson. I worked for the South Carolina Farm Bureau.
Right, right.
And President Wilson always likes to talk about how do we get a Farm Bureau guy teaching hospitality. But my degree is in agricultural my degrees are in agricultural education. But a lot of the things that I did whenever I was working for the Farm Bureau, I was a meeting planner. I organized conferences. I dealt with volunteers. So a lot of things that I actually did for the Farm Bureau were related to the hospitality industry.
Right, sure.
Got a chance to move down to Georgia to work for the Georgia Farm Bureau. And after working there for a couple of years, I went to work in political campaigns. I met some folks.
Yeah,
met some folks that were. It was time for a change from the Farm Bureau, and one of the guys that I'd hired to be a speaker for one of our conferences was running for a statewide office.
Really?
And I was friends with his daughter. And I said, I want a new job. And Lindy says, oh, Daddy will hire you. So I went to work with a gentleman named Bobby Rowe, and he won Public Service Commission position down in Georgia. In Georgia, the Public Service Commission is a statewide elected position.
Really?
Yep.
So he held a statewide position.
He held
and
a
you'd been
statewide-
instrumental in his campaign.
Yeah, I worked on his campaign.
Wow, Jay, that's tremendous.
And then I spent some time working with a gentleman named Lauren Bubba McDonald, and he ran for governor of Georgia in 1990, the first year that Senator Zell Miller was governor.
Right.
And back in the 90s. So I traveled all over Georgia, all 159 counties.
Are there really that many?
That many.
There's 43 in South Carolina.
46.
100 in North Carolina, 46 here, and 159. There's more in Georgia than in both North and South Carolina. That's incredible.
So after working with the South Carolina Farm Bureau with 43 counties, and then going to Georgia Farm Bureau to 159 counties, just mailing, and this was before email too, of course. So when we corresponded with our county farm bureaus, we were either doing it by fax or by letter. So that was a lot more letters to stamp and address and people to keep up with. But I really liked Georgia. But I was, again, when it was time for me to move back to South Carolina, I was glad to come home.
You moved from there, you headed up to Horry, or you back to Georgetown? You went straight to the Carriage House Club from there? Mm-hmm. Wow.
But I started working part-time. I started as a part-time server and liked it so well, I just stayed.
Yeah, and worked your way up. You were later the general manager there at the club. It's a pretty big deal for viewers who may not have visited the Carriage House Club before we're down at Litchfield Plantation. Is that a private club?
It's a private dining club.
Right.
I think the dues finally went up. I think they're $45 now instead of $35.
So folks can actually
become a member of. It's a dining club,
right? Sure.
And it's people get all kind of scared or nervous. The prices are very reasonable for what you get, and the setting, of course, is magnificent.
Oh, absolutely. It is beautiful down there. It's worth just joining the club,
Right,
paying the $45.
And that's one of the things you get to do. It's a private residential community as well as a private dining club.
Right.
So one of your benefits from membership is that you are able to drive in and look at the plantation. Particularly if you have friends from out of town or business associates visiting here, you can take them down to the Carriage House and just ride around and look at it.
Litchfield Plantation, I think I saw somewhere that's about 750 acres.
Right.
Incredible when you think of an expanse like that and some of those beautiful homes and the trees down there.
And that is the original Litchfield.
Is that right?
What's now known as Litchfield Plantation and all the other surrounding areas, Litchfield Country Club, all the way to the ocean was once part of Litchfield Plantation.
That's amazing, Jay. And then, of course, you left there to head down to Beaufort.
Beaufort. I was at the Beaufort Inn, which is a four-diamond restaurant.
Is that the only one in South Carolina?
Oh no, there's about 15 four-diamond.
Oh right, that's right. Here we've got two of them already. Right.
We have
three.
Sometimes people get confused because you can have a four-diamond You can have the diamond ratings for AAA. Therefore, the restaurants as well as for the inn. So you may have an inn that has a higher rating than the restaurant, or vice versa.
So in Horry County, we've got the bed and breakfast, the Cypress
Inn,
the Sheraton, the Marriott.
Those are four diamond.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Those are the 3 4-diamond hotels that we have here, and we have no restaurants that are rated 4-diamond in the Grand Strand area.
Is that right? Now, how did they come up with the diamond rating, Jay?
Oh, there's a very strict guidance for that sheets, and people come in and or they have the inspector come in unannounced, of course,
right,
and do your evaluation. And my students, that's one of the things that we do with our students is have them do AAA ratings of different properties. Before the Marriott got their 4-diamond rating, our senior our second year management class went down and did a AAA site inspection.
Is that right?
With them. I mean, some of the students actually checked into the hotel.
Unannounced, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was announced through the manager, but none of the staff knew.
None of the staff knew.
They ordered room service. They went to the restaurant. and ate. They had called and made a reservation. All
Sure.
these are the different points that you have to do. You know, your security, how big your lobby is, and all that. So it's really quite a big deal.
Are there? Yeah, go ahead.
When I was at the Buford Inn, our restaurant had gone down to 3 diamond, and the inn was 4 diamond. And the year I was there, it reversed. The restaurant went up to 4 diamond, and the inn went back down to 3 diamonds.
And you were over the restaurant,
Right.
Yeah, good
Imagine
answer.
that.
That's right.
But it all was they lost the rating because of one person. She was having a bad day. She answered the phone when the inspector called. She did not follow any of the steps that she was supposed to. You know, saying his name 3 times, making sure that he had wanted reservations for dinner, offering upgrades. She missed all these points. When he came in, she didn't do any better.
Wow.
And so she's no longer there.
Yeah.
But when he came to dinner, we weren't that busy, so you know I was there to spend time with him. The
Right.
server was there to spend time with him. The bartender came out and talked about the wine and the wine
Wow.
list.
Yeah.
And the next day, they call. You know, like once they go through the inspection, they call the next day and say, "Okay, I was the inspector."
They do it immediately. The next day.
Yeah, you get an immediate response.
Right.
But you don't get your
Total evaluation.
total evaluation until later. But you get an immediate response the next day, and the evaluator actually asked to meet the chef. And
Really?
because he was so impressed, he said, "You know, this is a 4+." He said, "It's not a 5 diamond,
Wow.
but you're definitely 4+ rating."
Are there any 5 diamonds in South Carolina?
The Woodlands
Uh-huh.
in Somerville, and the Sanctuary at Kiowa. have
Uh-huh.
Both, and they're 5 diamond. Both of these properties are 5 diamond restaurants and hotels.
Is that right? And that's AAA. Isn't
That's
there a
AAA.
mobile rating
Mobile
as well?
has
Those are the big
stars.
2. Yeah.
Mobile has stars.
Right. Do they go up to 5 as well? They both go to 5.
And a lot of times now you'll see it's a 7-star or a 7 diamond bar, and that's kind of self-imposed. You know,
Right,
there's
sure.
really no
Oh,
no
yeah.
standards above 5.
That's right, sure. So both mobile and AAA use those 5 diamond or star ratings.
And there's some things that one will focus on more than the other. And some people, you know, some hotels and restaurants are rated by one and not rated by the other. But you invite AAA and mobile to come into your property.
Is that right? And they make a
it's-
determination whether
right.
they want to come or not.
Well, no, they come.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of times people, if they know that they can't, that they're not going to be rated high enough,
Right. They don't
would
invite them.
choose not to be rated.
That's fascinating. So they can't come without being invited. Yeah. Or I guess they could.
Yeah, but that's not really how it
waste
works.
of their time. That's fascinating, Jay. You know, and of course you go through those steps with your students. How large will your class be tomorrow morning at 8?
Tomorrow morning at 8, we'll have about 15 students.
Really? For the hotel management
Right.
class?
And those are mostly our first-year students.
Right, right. That is exciting to think or Georgetown Tech is providing these opportunities for folks. Now, how many of the folks stay here in the area when they graduate from your program?
About 3/4.
Is that right?
And we have about half of our students go on to further their education at a 4-year school, either at Coastal Carolina University
Right.
or USC in Columbia or Johnson and Wales.
Is that
Actually,
right?
one of
Up to Charlotte?
Last year, last year or year before last, I had one of our students who left here and he went to Johnson and Wales in Denver and was majoring in sports management. So he was would then be working in a sports facility like the Panther Stadium. He would go in and work there doing the hospitality.
That's
the
very
stadium.
interesting. That is very interesting. When you got into the program 4 years ago, did you ever think, of course, when Kate called you down in Beaufort and said, come on up, did you ever think you'd expand up to the position of actually overseeing the program?
Oh, I never wanted her to leave. But now I'm kind of glad that she did because she's down in the Cayman Islands. And I've been down to visit she and her husband Chris a couple of times. They manage a small dive resort on Little
Is
Cayman
that
Island.
right? Great. I'm sure her husband was thrilled with that. Isn't that similar to what he had done
Yeah,
in
they
South
had
Africa?
safari. They were been on safaris, so
Right.
this is quite advanced to living in the woods or the jungle of Africa.
Now, you're able to tap some of the folks in the hospitality and tourism industry here to come in to help. Do you do some live simulations?
We do live simulations. We have a lot of speakers, like the Hotel Motel Restaurant Supply Show with Leisure Time is coming up at the end of the month for January 30th, 31st, and the 1st. And our students will actually man a booth they'll man the Horry Georgetown Tech booth
Right.
at the show. And so that gives them a chance. They set up the booth. then they're, of course, they're on the show floor. They meet with other suppliers. They get to see the behind-the-scenes part of the trade show, as well as be a consumer at the trade show.
Sure. This is so important when you think about this industry and so many 70-plus thousand rooms that folks would think about staying in up and down the Strand, from Little River down to, I guess, Georgetown is the demarcation line. When you think about that many rooms and how many folks are touched and felt by visitors coming into the area, it's a pretty demonstrable program here.
It sure is. Sure is.
Critical need for that.
And, of course, it's all about service.
Service, that's right. Mel Tiller's going to be with us tomorrow to talk about the Impeccable Customer Experience Awards, the ICE Awards that the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce and the Hospitality Association are putting on. I'm surprised. Tech's probably involved with the awards
and
as
I'll be
well.
attending, of course, yeah.
I'm sure you will. That'll be a big deal.
But yeah, service is, it is the key. And it doesn't really cost anything. This is one of the first things, the very first day of every class, I talk about the 3 points of service. And this was created by Ritz-Carlton, and it was modified by the Club Corporation of America. But they basically say, you offer a warm welcome,
Right.
You cater to the needs of your guest, or Club Corporation of America calls it magical moments. You create magical moments for your guest, and then you offer a fond farewell. So you basically saying hello, take care of the business, and goodbye. What else is there? And you can do that at a convenience store. You can do it at every store at Coastal Grand Mall. You can do it at the newspaper.
Right.
So it's all about how you treat people.
Say hello, get the business done, and say goodbye warmly.
Warmly, right.
Warmly. Well, of course, you pointed out that interesting thing just by mention there about saying the name 3 times on the telephone. That's one of the check marks when folks are deciding on between a 3 maybe and a 4 star rank.
Oh, yeah.
What about between a 4 and a 5? There must be some
there's major
big
differences.
hurdles.
You have to have silver-plated flatware in the restaurant.
Right.
You have to have 24-hour room service. It doesn't have to mean that you're cooking. It
Right.
can be cold sandwiches or boiled shrimp in the shrimp cocktail that's available. But you have to have. There's a long list of things that you have to have to be 5 Diamond.
That's something that both the Sheraton and the Marriott were shooting for, correct?
Yeah.
They both have the 24-hour.
But they never expected anything above a 4. Right now,
4 is still a big deal.
Right. Oh yeah, that's great.
In the Cypress Inn, now do you contact the folks every year to come in and check your place out, or is it?
Yeah, you get inspected every year.
When you invite them in the first time.
Then after that, it's even once you invite them in, then it's unannounced as to when they arrive. But they will do like a preliminary inspection where they come in when they're there, and they'll say, okay, well, you need to do this, or this didn't happen. Your lobby's not big enough.
Right. That is fascinating, Jay. When you think about, of course, for you, growing up in Georgetown County, as you said, outside of Hemingway, and then the experiences there with the Farm Bureau and the political campaigns, and then to be in this, when you look back 20 years, are there aspects of what you're teaching today that you think you may have picked up in a farm community that you saw?
Yeah, just being a rural background. You knew everybody, how you treated people. I was involved in the FFA when I first started. Of course, it was the Future Farmers of America. Now
Isn't it still?
No, it's still now it's just FFA. It's gone the way of some other things. It's just the acronym. It doesn't stand for anything. It doesn't stand for anything.
Right?
It's just the FFA, the National Student Organization for Students in Agricultural Education.
That's fascinating.
But the things I learned in
growing up in
the country still work. I teach parliamentary procedure. I learned parliamentary procedure in 9th grade in high school, and I teach that in our hospitality management class.
You do now? Why would folks in hospitality management need to know parliamentary procedure?
Well, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to the our board meeting. The board meeting for the Myrtle Beach Area Hospitality Association, and when Franz stands at the front, he calls the meeting to order. We have to vote, and where else do you learn these things about how to do committee work, how to run an organization, a club?
Do you ever let folks come in and audit your classes, Jay, or do folks in the community come in?
That is an option. But now, going to college is very, very affordable with the lottery, South Carolina Educational Lottery tuition. students can come to school practically for free. I mean,
Right.
it's about 75% of the tuition can be paid for through the lottery. You have to fill out a federal financial aid form, FAFSA, and then if you're not eligible for federal financial aid, then you can get the lottery, and that means you too, Greg.
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
I'll take advantage of the lottery. That's great.
It doesn't matter if you have a degree. It's for people who are coming to technical colleges.
Is that right?
Anybody that's a resident of South Carolina can attend a technical college
I wasn't
in
aware of
South
that.
Carolina and take advantage of the lottery tuition program.
So you could have advanced
You
degrees
can-
from
I had
anywhere.
students with 2 master's degrees
Come on,
And come
who are
back.
getting advantage of taking advantage of
getting a
the.
degree in hospitality.
Wow, that is fantastic. If a viewer was interested in possibly learning more about the program, what's the best way to get in touch with somebody? So just call in.
Just call me. I have a real easy number, 843-477-2000. And that is
Great.
actually
That's your direct line?
That is my
It's
direct
not like
line.
the main tech line?
No.
477-2000. That's great. And you're okay if we put that
Oh
on
yeah,
there?
that's great.
That's a great way. And now, can Horry Georgetown Technical College take students from all over the area? They could
Yeah,
come
of course,
in.
if you're a
gotta be a South Carolina resident.
No, if you're a resident of Georgetown or Horry counties, of course there's an in-county tuition.
Right.
Then there's an in-state
In-state.
tuition, and
Right.
then there's an out-of-state tuition.
Good, good. You know, when you think about that, of course, we just got a couple of minutes. Obviously, I wanted to talk more about the business etiquette column that you've been
You have to have me back.
doing. We'll have to get you back. Of course, it's so exciting. Our first week back after a year and a half off air. Had we had you on before,
I've never
Jay?
been on
We
before.
had Kate Ferreira in a couple times to talk about the program, and she was so great. I know she is missed by many, but to see the extension you've provided to the program, particularly being a local,
Right.
and being able to communicate, you must get a pretty good deal on room rates here locally.
You'd be surprised how many people call me to ask me that.
Oh, yeah,
I really
yeah.
don't. But
Oh, good.
You try not to use those favors. You
That's
use
right.
them sparingly.
With former students,
Right.
yeah, that's right. No grades for rooms.
I do teach cost control is one of the classes that
Oh,
I have
yeah.
taught before. So,
That's a good point. Franz and some others are
Right.
probably happy with that.
and as I tell my restaurant students, as a server, you can't give away the pie because it's not yours. That's still stealing.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it is tough
Right.
at times when folks are working long
Right.
hours and thinking when friends come in, that must be a tough situation. But of course, it's critical to know someone else has the dollars have to be provided to keep the company going.
That's right.
Yeah. When you think about the last 4 years, is there anything that really stands out in your mind, Jay, that got you in and that has helped you stay forward and keep the program going strong?
Just seeing the students as I go out into the community, and seeing some of the students who have dropped out of the program, when they see me in the mall, they're feeling guilty,
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm coming back. And then seeing the students who are successful and getting calls from my students who have gone on to Coastal or USC or Johnson & Wales, and, telling how well prepared they were to go on to these 4-year schools. And then, students who are leaving us going directly into the world of work and being successful is also very exciting.
Absolutely. Jay, thanks so much for being
Thank
with
you,
us
Greg.
this morning. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Professor Jay Rowe coming up next. His name's Professor Jay Rowe. The column's Business Etiquette, the magazine Coastal Business Life. If you're not a subscriber, you can pick it up in stores and at the living room. And he gave you his direct line, 843-477-2000. If you want to learn about the hospitality and tourism management program at Horry Georgetown Tech, give him a call. He wants you to give him a ring.